Get ready for non-stop Formula One action. Lando Norris has just stormed to sprint pole in Miami, delivering a lightning-fast lap that absolutely blew away the competition, marking a massive statement for McLaren. This stunning performance comes after a challenging Friday for the team, but Norris proved the doubters wrong with a perfect result, hinting at a thrilling weekend ahead. Could this be the start of a new era for McLaren?
Never get caught with a dead phone again. This INIU portable charger is compact, travel-friendly, and gives you fast 45-watt charging with a built-in USB-C cable, so there's no need to carry extra cords. With 10,000 mAh power, it's perfect for busy days, trips, emergencies, or anytime your battery drops too low. Grab yours on Amazon through the link in the comments before your phone hits 1%.
But it's not just McLaren making waves. The previously dominant Mercedes are facing cracks in their armor, with George Russell qualifying a surprising 6th and Lewis Hamilton in 7th, a far cry from their usual front-row dominance. Meanwhile, Ferrari, despite bringing significant upgrades, also struggled to find their usual pace, leaving fans wondering if their championship lead is truly under threat. And what about Red Bull Racing? They've unveiled a new upgrade package that's showing promising signs of life, with Max Verstappen qualifying in 5th. Is this the boost Red Bull needs to rejoin the championship fight? Plus, a bizarre situation unfolded for Liam Lawson, whose chances of advancing were dashed by a late penalty for Alex Albon, a decision that's left many questioning the officiating. This Miami Grand Prix Sprint qualifying has delivered twists and turns we didn't see coming. Don't miss a single moment of the drama. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you're the first to know what happens next. Lando Norris has claimed a dominant pole position for the Miami Sprint, delivering a blistering lap of 1M27.869s to lead the field. The McLaren driver was a commanding 0.222 seconds clear of Antonelli and 0.239 seconds ahead of his teammate Oscar Piastri. An all-McLaren front row looked on the cards, until late pace from Antonelli in his Mercedes pushed Piastri down to 3rd, setting the stage for a fierce battle. This stellar performance marks a significant turnaround for McLaren after a challenging Friday, where Antonelli experienced engine issues and both he and George Russell struggled for pace. Russell ultimately qualified 6th, behind Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen. Norris expressed his delight at securing his 5th career sprint pole, calling it a perfect result and a strong reward for the team's hard work on new upgrades. He also highlighted his fondness for the Miami circuit, the scene of his maiden F1 victory. While pleased to outpace Mercedes, Norris acknowledged the difficulty in assessing the true performance gap, stating, "Every track is different." He felt immediately comfortable with the car's grip and performance, a feeling amplified by the track conditions, which he described as tricky with challenging winds. Despite a momentarily shaky Q2, Norris's decisive one-lap strategy in Q3, pushed by his engineer, proved fruitful. Charles Leclerc was an unlucky contender for pole, having topped the earlier free practice session, but a mistake on his final push lap cost him valuable time. Lewis Hamilton, meanwhile, could only manage 7th, a significant margin behind Norris's benchmark time. In the midfield, Franco Colapinto secured 8th for Williams, ahead of Isaac Hadjar in the 2nd Red Bull and Alpine's Pierre Gasly rounding out the top 10. The battle for the final SQ3 spots was incredibly tight, with just hundredths of a second separating drivers. Lance Stroll's difficult weekend continued with an early incident and a no time, leaving him last on the grid, while teammate Fernando Alonso also failed to advance from SQ1. Several other notable drivers, including Sergio Perez and Valtteri Bottas, were eliminated in the opening segment. The Miami Grand Prix Sprint is scheduled to commence at 12 p.m. local time on Saturday. Lando Norris has clinched pole position for the Miami Grand Prix Sprint, showcasing a stellar performance that left rivals scrambling. The McLaren driver set a blistering pace, topping the timesheets and securing the prime starting spot for Saturday's shorter race. Meanwhile, the sprint qualifying session was not without its drama. Early on, a tense moment saw Kimi Antonelli and George Russell nearly make contact at the start of SQ1, a close call that had fans on the edge of their seats. Lance Stroll also experienced a brief scare, coming to a halt at turn 12 before managing to get his car moving again. The pit lane provided its own share of excitement, with Max Verstappen narrowly avoiding a collision with Pierre Gasly as the pair navigated the tight confines. Ferrari, initially strong with a promising 1-2 in SQ2, ultimately faltered. Oscar Piastri of McLaren delivered a crucial lap to snatch second place, splitting the Ferraris of Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. The session highlighted a challenging day for Mercedes, who struggled to find competitive pace, leaving them with work to do to challenge at the front. The fight for sprint pole ultimately came down to a tense battle between McLaren, Ferrari, and a struggling Mercedes, with Norris emerging as the clear victor. Lando Norris has seized pole position for the Miami Grand Prix Sprint race, delivering a stunning performance that saw him edge out championship leader Kimi Antonelli. The McLaren driver's blistering lap puts him at the front for Saturday's short-format race, signaling a potential shift in momentum. Joining Norris on the front row is Oscar Piastri, with Charles Leclerc starting third after a compromised hot lap. Max Verstappen will line up fourth, ahead of a surprisingly subdued George Russell in fifth. Lewis Hamilton endured a frustrating session, crashing out in the final moments of sprint qualifying 3 after showing strong pace earlier, leaving him in a disappointing seventh. The significant upgrades brought by McLaren and Ferrari appear to have closed the gap to the previously dominant Red Bull and Mercedes, injecting fresh excitement into the championship battle. Meanwhile, the Aston Martins and Cadillacs, along with Liam Lawson and Esteban Ocon, found themselves eliminated early, occupying the back of the grid. A peculiar situation unfolded with Liam Lawson, who, despite his elimination, remained in his car in the garage, awaiting the outcome of an investigation into Alex Albon's potential track limits violation. This season sees a revised sprint qualifying format with 22 cars, meaning 6 drivers are eliminated in SQ1 and SQ2, leaving 10 for the top 10 shootout. Sprint qualifying timings remain unchanged with 12 minutes for SQ1, 10 for SQ2, and 8 for SQ3. The Miami Grand Prix has delivered a seismic shift in the Formula One pecking order. McLaren, a customer team of Mercedes, has dramatically surged forward, with Lando Norris snatching sprint qualifying pole position from the previously dominant Silver Arrows. This stunning performance marks a significant statement of intent from McLaren, signaling they are firmly back in contention. The team's introduction of a substantial upgrade package, described as an all-new car, appears to have paid dividends immediately. Norris expressed delight, stating the car felt a little bit more like last year, boosting his confidence. Teammate Oscar Piastri also showcased the car's potential, qualifying third despite a perceived straight-line speed deficit. Meanwhile, Mercedes finds itself uncharacteristically off the front row. George Russell qualified sixth, admitting surprise at the pace of their rivals. The team brought minimal upgrades to Miami, a stark contrast to McLaren, Ferrari, and Red Bull Racing, all of whom introduced significant performance enhancements. Ferrari, despite an extensive aero upgrade, qualified fourth with Charles Leclerc, showing its closest margin to pole yet, but failing to break into the front row. Lewis Hamilton qualified seventh, expressing disappointment with the car's performance. Red Bull Racing, however, is showing signs of life with its own upgrade package, with Max Verstappen qualifying fifth. This represents a significant step forward for the team, nearly halving their deficit to the frontrunners. In other news, Alex Albon of Williams was demoted to 19th after a retrospective penalty for exceeding track limits, which also impacted Liam Lawson, preventing him from progressing further. This incident highlights ongoing challenges with the FIA's stewarding process, despite recent technological advancements.